Here I am. Thank you guys for showing up. I know you didn't know I was speaking this morning, so thank you for showing up to hear me speak. Let's switch this for this. Got at the top, right? Okay, so this is, if you ask most people in America, how do you get to God? Most people would say, well, you got to be a good person. You got to be a good person. Here's what most people in the world think to have a right relationship with God looks like. Well, God's at the top, and most of the religions in the world are based on morality, so you got to be a good person, and if the good outweighs the bad, then hey, you're all right. The world teaches us that to get up to God, you can take any path up the mountain you want. Maybe. That Christianity is different. The Bible teaches that God came down off the mountain to us because he knew we could never climb the mountain on our own strength because we're not perfect. And he is. So let's get into Galatians 2, all right? Start at verse 15. Paul is having a conversation with Peter. They're both Jews. And here's verse 15. It says, "We who are Jews by birth and not sinful Gentiles know that a person is not justified by the works of the law, but by faith in Jesus Christ. So we too have our faith in Jesus Christ, that we may be justified by faith in Christ and not by the works of the law." Not by good works, not by our own strength. Because by the works of the law, no one will be justified. Verse 17, "But if in seeking to be justified with Christ, we Jews find ourselves also among the sinners, doesn't that mean that Christ promotes sin? Absolutely not. If I rebuild what I destroyed, then would I really be a lawbreaker? Because essentially, you're looking at God, at Jesus on the cross, the sacrifice that Jesus did for us. And you're saying, hey, thanks for the sacrifice. It's really awesome, but it's not enough. I gotta do some good works to earn it, you know. So what's the difference? The difference is we are working from forgiveness and not for forgiveness. Verse 21, "I do not set aside the grace of God, for if righteousness could be gained through the law, Christ died for nothing." Pastor Brian, director of in character on staff at the church, he was talking to me about the message, and he said this. He said, "Obedience is grace in action. If we don't obey the gospel, we have no real understanding of grace." Let's keep reading it. Verse 19, "For through the law I died to the law so that I might live for Christ. I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me." I could read that 100 times. I've been crucified with Christ. My sin and my shame, because of the love of God, are hanging on that cross with Jesus. My life is hanging on the cross with Jesus, and because of Jesus, I have been saved. So it says, I no longer live, Christ lives in me. All right? And this rope, this right here is a timeline of your life, a little blue spot. All right? So as humans, it's very natural to focus all of our attention and energy right here on this blue spot. Comfort, success, all those things that we all want, which are not bad in and of themselves. But, and most of us work most of our lives so that right here we'll be really comfortable. And we forget about what's after our life. Let's keep reading. It says, the life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God. And that's really a cool thing because guess what? You don't need to feel shame anymore. You don't need to wake up every day and feel guilty for the way you've lived your life. You can walk in freedom. Now that doesn't... The question really becomes, what do we do with what Christ has done for us?